Hi everybody, Skipper Darrell here, coming to you from our winter home port of beautiful Denver, Colorado. It's just a week or so past New Year's 2019 and we are already getting ready for our upcoming cruising season. One of the projects that I'm working on is a complete reimagination and re-engineering of our dinghy situation. It's got to be better. I'm calling it Operation Dinghy Do-Over, and I'll tell you all about it next here on the Onboard Life. The Onboard Life and Why Not Great Lakes Grand Tour YouTube channel is proud to partner with Pendergrass Yacht Sales this year to help you start your own onboard life. Admiral Lisa and I know Charlie Pendergrass much more than just as a sponsor. He was our broker when we first went to Florida to find our dream boat. We can personally attest that he was very knowledgeable, determined, and terrific to work with. Most important, he gave us confidence. Charlie is a friend of ours now, and I'm very confident you'll have a tremendously satisfying experience with his service, whether you're buying or selling. Call him or drop him an email to get things started. That's Charlie Pendergrass at Pendergrass Yacht Sales. One of the things that needs to be upgraded on our boat for the kind of cruising we're going to be doing is our whole dinghy situation. Up to now, it hasn't been the best setup we could have put together. We used it, but we did shy away from using it extensively. We never felt comfortable with it. I have to come up with something better, and it's going to take several months to do it. First, a little background. Our dinghy is a Walker Bay 8, as in 8 feet long. This has been our tender from day one in our onboard life, and we generally like the boat itself. It's basically a small, rigid rowboat, and we like it for its durability. We don't have to worry about bumping into anything, scraping on any kind of bottom, or generally busting it up. It's also quite secure when we have it stowed on the transom. It's also not terribly heavy, only 71 pounds. At this stage in our lives, we can still handle it. But its small size and rigidity comes with a price. On its own, it's not very stable, especially with a big guy like me. The first time I addressed its stability issues were back in 2013. I bought and installed an inflatable collar from Walker Bay themselves. It looked promising, but in the end it was a flop. It only added a small amount of extra stability, but it was extremely cumbersome. It leaked air quite easily, and adding more air to the collar was, to me, precarious at best. We ditched the collar in favor of just being more careful. Albeit, being more careful meant we always felt like we were taking some kind of chance on something bad happening. The other issue was propulsion other than rowing. Because of our boat's configuration, handling a too big and too heavy run-of-the-mill outboard motor was out of the question. My solution was to find this really cool, handy, and lightweight two-stroke trolling motor. It's basically a weed string trimmer with a little propeller on it. The motor worked every single time, no problem, and it was relatively easy to handle. Great. The problem with it was that I guess you'd call it the lower universal joint, rusted due to it being in salt water, and I knew going in that this was a freshwater piece of gear. My bad. Well, we'll be in freshwater for the next several years. I have the replacement part in hand, and I'll continue using a little trolling motor. So far, so good. But coming up with a remedy of the stability issue is the big challenge. The concept of a flotation collar is a good one. The trick is to make one that's more robust without adding too much extra weight. We have a pretty good system of launching and recovering our dinghy, so the dinghy's weight itself is not so much a factor, but lighter is better. The Walker Bay collar only added 18 pounds of weight, but its fastening system, a single bead and channel up at the boat's gunnel, I thought, actually made the craft less stable. The collar shifted a lot. So, some kind of air-filled collar, yes. Walker Bay's inflatable collar, no. So, here's the plan. I'm going to design, create, and install a new, more durable collar that adds stability and buoyancy to the dinghy and be much, much stronger than the inflatable collar. I hope. The whole project will take several months to complete. I have to design it, test it, and order everything, mostly out here at our home base in Denver. Then it all needs to be installed and tested once we get back to the boat in New York. I see this taking several videos in a series to lay it all out for you. So, follow along and see how I do. You can also chime in with any ideas on my concepts, and your ideas are welcome. Stay tuned for part 2 coming soon on The Onboard Life.